Hi, ever wonder what it's like to work another profession or live in the underworld? Listen to unsuspecting riders give a 10 to 15 minute personal masterclass as I spontaneously interview them as they enter my taxi. I'm your host, Simon Rushton, and this is Taxi Chronicles. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have a lovely lady, let's call her Sally, and her lovely mother also. And they are like myself in the sense of working class, I assume. And the daughter has made it in the doctor business, the doctor pediatrics, and so she's going to share the gift and how she got there. So nice to have you here today, Sally.
All right, thank you very much.
So tell us, what made you want to be a pediatric doctor?
Actually, I think it's because I had issues as a child myself. I had scoliosis that needed back braces from the age of 10 and plaster casts, and I had a lot of contact with...
What's scoliosis?
Curvature of the spine.
Your spine's curving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can get some complications from that afterwards, which I did. So from the age of 10, so a difficult time for teenage girls sometimes, you know, going from 10 to 16, wearing these back braces. Sometimes you have to wear them kind of 21 hours a day. And plaster jackets, which is like a plaster cast for your leg, but on your body for 3-4 months at a time. But I guess I had a lot of contact with health professionals from a young age, and in that way, as none of my family were medics, and I thought I felt helped, and I wanted to do something to help in return.
Okay, that's nice. So what was the process you went through to become a paediatric doctor? From GCSEs? What GCSEs did you do? Did you go to A-levels?
Yeah, so I would say probably our family's probably middle class rather than working class. My mum and dad are teachers. Their parents, so on my dad's side, his dad was a factory worker. And so my parents were the first in the generation to go to university. On my mum's side, her dad was a bus conductor. So we went from kind of working class to middle class. With mum and dad being teachers. At school, I went to state school, but I did go to grammar schools. I did well in my GCSEs.
What were the vital ones that you needed to become a paediatric doctor?
So at that point, it doesn't really matter, because I think they were all kind of picked out for me at school already. I did 11. I would say if you are going to apply to med school and you have a choice, go for triple science rather than double. Then A-levels, I was torn between subjects. Believe it or not, I don't really like maths and physics, and that's what they really like you to have for medical school. I think mainly just because they're hard, and it's a way of kind of differentiating you from other people. If you get good grades in them, they're not actually relevant really for medicine. Things like biology and chemistry, yeah, sure. But maths and physics and further maths, that's not really needed for med school. So I really struggled with maths. I think I had a lot of extra help, didn't I? I remember the teacher at school always trying to help me at lunch because I was really behind in maths. I really liked Spanish and geography, and I actually have a passion for a lot of the arts subjects, but I wanted to be a doctor. Anyway, I got through A-levels. I actually did Spanish at night school at Barnet College, because my school didn't offer it. Because I switched for sixth form, you see. So I'd done all my GCSEs in an all-girls kind of grammar school. Got fed up of being in an all-girls school and went to a mixed sixth form, but they didn't do Spanish. So did Spanish at night school on the side. Which I have to say, for anyone out there, don't do that. Do all your...
It was a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, do all your A-levels at school. It's much harder doing it out of school and at night college. And then I applied, and I really didn't want to go to a London university. I wanted to go to, so I put Imperial down because I thought it was one of the best in terms of reputation, but I actually wanted to go to Bristol,
to be honest, though,
and Nottingham.
You thought at the time you had no chance of actually getting in there in terms of grades, etc.
Did I?
Because I do remember the interview was the big thing.
Yeah.
They were impressed with you in the interview.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why you got it.
Yeah, and I did get into Imperial, and I didn't get in anywhere else. So I had to go to Imperial. So, yeah, I think they did like me in the interview.
No, wait, Imperial, that's not a hospital, that's a university.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
but that's where Imperial Med School is where I
So
trained.
Where do you work in St.
Oh,
Thomas
so
or something?
now,
No, don't mean where you work now. So obviously, it's anonymous. I mean, when you're studying, you do work.
so you're assigned to a medical school at a university,
Yeah.
and so it's different for the different ones. At Imperial, it was essentially like 4 years of studying and then kind of 2 years of clinical attachments. So right towards the end, when you've actually built up a bit of a knowledge base, then you do attachments in various hospitals, and I think mine were all the ones kind of, I went everywhere really. I went to Northwick Park, I went to Hillingdon, went to West Middlesex, went to St Mary's, Queen Charlotte's. Yeah, I went to loads of hospitals. I went to Stevenage, Queen Elizabeth, and Welwyn Garden City, like everywhere.
What would you say you've learned from being a paediatric doctor, that you wish you knew when you had started?
It's a good one. I think it's taken me time to learn this, but I think actually being humble and not having an ego, and I appreciate there's some specialties where that doesn't seem to apply so much, but for pediatrics at least, the emphasis is it's not on you, it's not what you know, it's not how good you look, it's about the child and what's in the best interest of the child, and that comes first above everything. If you get it wrong, you say you got it wrong. If you don't know, you say you don't know. If there's someone more junior than you who knows the answer, you follow that up and you don't feel embarrassed that you don't know the answer. It's quite humbling doing pediatrics because everything is about putting the child's needs first and their family, and that took time to learn.
That's interesting. What would you say to a 16-year-old who's considering doing medicine or going down the road you've gone?
I find that a hard question to answer because I remember telling my GP at a similar age that I wanted to do medicine, and they made some discouraging comments of saying like, oh, medicine's really hard life, don't do it. And I found that really disheartening. I know some people that spurs them on to do it more. For me, I found it disheartening being told that.
Were they right though? Is it a hard life?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
but the thing is, there's nothing else for me. That's my passion. So if you're a bit like, oh, I don't mind doing medicine, but actually I'd quite like to travel and I'd want to do something else, or actually I would be quite open to doing other things, then I don't know if medicine, and particularly medicine in the NHS, is the career for you. But I felt this was all I ever wanted to do, and I wanted to work here, and it was absolutely the right decision for me. I feel very fulfilled in my job. So I'm a general paediatrician. What do I see in my daily care? What are my skill set? Okay, so I can look after premature babies from the age of 23 weeks. I can look after up to 18 years old, someone who's come in, with the more adult conditions, severe asthma attack, diabetic ketoacidosis, sepsis, children with developmental delay, children with autism I care for, and they're their own special group of children who are a joy to work with. There are some more depressing aspects, safeguarding and abuse, which I don't enjoy, but unfortunately I'm good at. In terms of being thorough and not missing things. But it's just such a varied, you never know what you can get next. I'm always interested. I have an interesting day every day. I never have a boring day. I feel fulfilled. And sometimes, I'm not a hero every day, but sometimes, I do something that saves a life, and that's an incredible feeling. So for me, there is no other job.
I understand. Well, that's good. You've been a great guest, very informative. Is there anything you feel you need to share regarding your industry?
I just think that sometimes I really, and this is going to sound, I don't know what it's going to sound, I do think we all need to work together, and I think sometimes there's a perceived hierarchy between doctors and nurses, and I think actually maybe it's just in pediatrics, but I feel like that isn't there. I feel we all work together, and we work together with families. I think that's really important. I think just everyone needs to kind of have each other's back, work together. Can probably apply that to wider communities and life as well. But I think that's it.
That's good. Well, I'll just add to that. My aunt, I've got lots of family who work in the medical field and nurses and all that, and my aunt would probably high-five you on that statement because she's tired of doctors with egos that she wants to knock out, kind of thing.
She needs to work in pediatrics.
But she works with the old people as well now. But thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thank you.
We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest daily episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economy and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Then listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you will hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m.